Spyro the Dragon quickly became one of PlayStation's most recognizable mascots following the release of his first game in 1998. The original trilogy was developed by Insomniac Games, the same studio behind other PlayStation favorites such as Ratchet and Clank, and more recently the Spider-Man series. But of course, which are the best Spyro games to have ever been released? And that's where we come in, as we'll be taking a look at our top 10 best Spyro games of all time. But of course, just before we do go into the video, if you do like this type of content and you'd like to see some more top 10s, then as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button and of course, like this video. And without further delay, here are our top 10 best Spyro games to have ever been released. Number 10, The Legend of Spyro the Eternal Night. When Universal acquired the rights to the franchise, they chose to reinvent it as somewhat darker and more serious. As a result, the narrative and character development are often considered standout aspects of the trilogy. However, at its core, these are video games, and unfortunately the gameplay itself was the weakest link, often relying on repetitive button-mashing combat, and with that said, its extreme difficulty level seems excessive for a game aimed at younger audiences, and its time-slowing mechanic feels unoriginal. In addition, the muted color palette does little to make the game visually appealing. Number 9, The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning. As the first game in the Legend series, A New Beginning sets out to completely reset the Spyro franchise, a goal made clear even in its title. The early sections of the game are engaging, going back to Spyro's origins, from his egg being lost during an attack on the dragon homeland, to his upbringing among fireflies, along Sparx, his adoptive brother. Eventually, Spyro learns the truth about his heritage, and embarks on a journey on self-discovery. Despite its promising start, the game soon falls into a repetitive pattern. Waves of enemies appear, Spyro fights them, and the cycle repeats. While cinematic flight sequences and a light-hearted tone keep players invested, the gameplay ultimately feels a little bit monotonous. One silver lining is the introduction of Cinder, a character who would go on to have a lasting impact beyond the Legend series. Number 8, Spyro: A Hero's Tale. This game marked the franchise's expansion across all three major consoles, at the time including Xbox, GameCube, and PS2. In this adventure, Spyro joins forces with a familiar ally, like Hunter and Sparx, to take down the new antagonist, Red, a former dragon elder turned villain. This game is pretty solid, but unremarkable. Spyro is given a new voice actor, although it does make the character a little less appealing. The controls are functional, but lack the precision required for the more challenging platform sections, and the in-game gem currency system is a little bit flawed, forcing players to grind for resources. Number 7, The Legend of Spyro: Dawn of the Dragon. For the final installment in the Legend trilogy, Universal handed the development duties to a new French company, which in the end ended up being a wise decision, as Dawn of the Dragon is widely regarded as the best of the three. For the first time in the series, both Spyro and Cinder can fly freely, leading to a more open and exploratory gameplay experience. The gameplay has stunning environments, with breathtaking moments like soaring over lush fields and cascading waterfalls. While Dawn of the Dragon isn't flawless, it elevates the Legend series into a more worthwhile endeavor. Number 6, Spyro Season of Ice. Season of Ice is a charming handheld installment that doesn't break new ground but delivers what it promises. Recognizing that the Game Boy Advance couldn't replicate the 3D environments of its console counterparts, the developers opted for a top-down, isometric perspective. Despite the visual shift, the core gameplay remains the same, collecting gems, unlocking chests, and progressing through levels. The story involves fairies trapped in ice, and the game includes occasional shooting gallery segments to add variety. For a small-scale project, Season of Ice is pretty solid. Number 5, Spyro Season of Flame. Released shortly after Season of Ice, this game capitalized on the success of its predecessor. However, playing both games back to back may feel a little redundant. That is because they are nearly identical in structure. That said, Season of Flame does introduce a few improvements. A minimap helps with navigation, a much needed addition, given the layout of the previous game's levels. It also removes the lackluster shooting segments and offers a slightly tighter gameplay experience. If choosing between the two, Season of Flame is the better option. Number 4, Spyro the Dragon. The release of the original Spyro the Dragon was a game changer for 3D platformers. It took inspiration from predecessors like Banjo-Kazooie, but introduced a more polished and modern feel, with Spyro balancing Sonic's attitude and Mario's charm. The game's accessibility made it a hit with players of all ages, including older gamers. Compared to its sequels, however, Spyro the Dragon feels relatively basic, as levels are fewer in numbers, and collectible chests are the only hidden items. The varied mission structures that become a series staple were not yet present, and the game's 100 completion mode challenge is hindered by frustrating flying levels. Number 3, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. This game moves the action to the realm of Avalar and introduces many beloved characters, including Hunter, Moneybags, and of course Ripto. This shift in setting and cast helps bring Spyro's world to life. Beyond its narrative, the game surpasses its predecessor in almost every way. Levels are now more intricate, the soundtrack is catchier, and the gameplay progression is finely tuned. Missions now offer genuine variety, requiring players to complete tasks such as ice curling and trolley riding in order to collect orbs. Though some challenges can be a little bit frustrating, Ripto's Rage remains a fan favorite. Number 2, Spyro Year of the Dragon. Choosing between Spyro 2 and Spyro 3 is no easy task, and while Ripto's Rage is more refined and cohesive, Year of the Dragon embraces a widely creative approach that makes it equally compelling. The game largely sticks to the core of Spyro formula of jumping, gliding, and collecting dragon eggs. However, it differentiates itself by introducing a roster of playable side characters like Sheila the Kangaroo and Agent 9, a blaster-wielding monkey. While chaotic at times, the game's variety makes for an exciting experience. Number 1, Spyro Reignited Trilogy. If the original trilogy ranked among some of the best games in the series, then a modern remaster, bundling all three into one enhanced package, would naturally take the top spot. The Spyro Reignited Trilogy recreates the beloved classics with updated visuals, refined gameplay and mechanics, and quality of life improvements. Every character, level, and dialogue line has been immaculately recreated with stunning detail. Minor tweaks, such as adjustments to enemy placement and clearer puzzle hints, help smooth out the experience while staying true to the originals. And so there you pretty much have it. Those were our top 10 best Spyro games to have been released. So what did you think of this list? Do you agree? Or perhaps that you think that there was a different order that these games should have been placed in? If so, do let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. We would love to hear it. And of course, not forgetting that if you do like this type of video and you'd like to see some more top 10s, then as always, hit that subscribe button and of course, like this video. I'll also leave some more content at the end of this video if you would like to check them out. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.